Greetings and salutations, and I just popped back into doing the Ironman run, of course on an emulator because I have, again, not found the cartridge. Still have all the old documentation though. Not found the cartridge kicking around my house yet. But we're still sticking with the old Ironman run, which means, if you don't know what that means, I've been doing a whole series. And essentially, if my party member dies, I'm not allowed to resurrect it, and when they all die, I restart. Which, if you watch the first part of the series, bad things occurred. And I ended up losing my party rather quick. So, it is what it is. But I figured, might as well do this. And I wanted to talk about an interesting development that occurred. This is recently. This is on Twitter, actually. As people probably have noticed, the Twitter algorithm decided to just start making it so that Americans and Japanese people can see each other's posts. I don't know if this was deliberate. I don't know if this was just happenstance. Okay. Thank you very much. I don't know what this was all about, but nevertheless, what inevitably happened was we found out that we both kind of like the same thing. Now, if you live in anywhere in rural America, like anywhere in rural America, you generally like the same things that the Japanese people do. Barbecue, open air, country living, and to a lesser extent, the Japanese have a fondness for guns, specifically airsoft, because they can't own anything else. And so there's been this big cultural exchange of, like, you know, oh, we thought we were so different. Japan thought that they were subservient, or that they were in one way or another. And they found out that Paul's about ready to die. And what they found out is we're not so different. Not to sound like a you know, like a thing from the Joker, where he's just like, we're not so different, you and I. Not like that. But yet, they're finding out that, hey, they're not that different from us. They're finding out that we're kind of cool if you get to know us. And when you're out in the countryside and you're out where, for the majority of people, live, in my estimation, he's dead. Well, Paul's down. Rip. Well, wait, we're gonna get out of... Wait a minute. Go back to that. We're gonna get out ahead of it. And yes, I am gonna continue with the whole Hearthstone, legend climb. I did make it to gold 10, but I have not made it further. If I lose my other black belt, it's gonna be a problem. Well, you have nothing else, so here, give the guy evasion. It's getting kind of rough. We hit Chapu Seas, sir. And now I'm gonna continue the whole Hearthstone ladder climb. Probably after this, and I told you you're gonna get sick and tired of seeing Hearthstone and Pokemon content, which on the 8th you will be seeing Pokemon content. So be prepared, buckle in, buckle up. April 8th is when that all starts. And so I just wanted to make that very apparent. No, it's not going to become some sort of one-trick pony I'm not gonna just, like, put myself into that niche where that's the only things I play. But I did want to make it known that that's kind of where I'm gonna centralize a lot of my playtime. For multiple reasons. One is I absolutely love both, both games. I do love Hearthstone as much as sometimes my RNG does not love me. And I do love competitive Pokemon. And I did a, how-to guide, like not even a how-to guide, but a introduction to competitive battling. I did a video on that. And I can, potentially, hold on. Had to turn on a fan. It's getting a little warm in here. I can potentially, of course he's poisoned. Or she got poisoned too. I could potentially do like a play-by-play, and I will be open to team suggestions when I make it. But I'm kind of narrowing down on the other side of the coin. We're talking back to Hearthstone here. I'm kind of narrowing down the Death Knight deck. And the reason I say kind of narrowing it down is I think it's almost there, and I think one of the big key items that I'm lacking is a weapon. And I'll explain why here in a second after I get rid of this annoying grinding sound. 2 Pures. I'm gonna buy a couple more just in case I run into more of them out there. So, the reason I think that the option for a weapon is a great idea is that weapon allows me, if I still have it equipped on turn 9, and I play Arisen and Nexia, I can swing into a big threat and gain extra life. And I'm thinking I'm going to use Staff of the Endbringer, but I don't know what I want to opt out for it. Because Staff of the Endbringer's got 6 durability, and you can play it on 3, so it's almost like it curves perfectly. We'll see. The only thing I fear is that people are going to play Stadium Announcer and break the weapon early, and then I'm in trouble. Which, I guess really doesn't matter, because then it'll kill the board. So I guess it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I lose the weapon Death Rattle when I want it, but to be fair, I gain a board clear if they do kill it. It's kind of funny though. When I was talking on Twitter with some Japanese people, there's an auto-translate feature, so it's auto-translating all the things, right? And somebody was saying that Japan's popularity didn't pick up until we started playing JRPGs like Final Fantasy, which is kind of what brought it up, and until we started getting into anime as an actual medium. Which is very true. I mean, Japan's influence wasn't very large here until the early 90s. And then even then it was very small at that point, and it started building at right then and there. Because that's when we first started having that initial, we had played through, well, she's dead. This run's pretty much chalked. Now I don't have a healer. Anyway, we had gotten the first taste of Japanese RPGs with this and Dragon Quest, oddly enough. And when we had gotten those, we didn't understand it here, like, how big it was. And then you take a look over in Japan and you realize they had things like Fire Emblem, like, way back on the NES. But it's like, okay, so we're a bit tardy to the party, and yeah, if I lose Dirk, it's pretty much over. It's getting there. Make it back to town. I got nothing. I have you know, I have now just a black mage and a black belt, and that's it. So I gotta hope that everything I just blow up just dies immediately. Oh god. Well, I might be able to, because I got 2 ice spells. And that does a lot to ogres. Wow, 26? Are you kidding me? Yeah, see, he's dead now. I mean, if you think about it, 1990, 92, we didn't even have... I think we might have had Final Fantasy, what we called Final Fantasy 3. Let me double check that, because I'm pretty sure that came out in, like, 92. Let me look it up real quick. Final Fantasy 3 launch date. Which is actually Final Fantasy 6, but we didn't know that. Let's see. Final Fantasy 3 originally launched. There's a confusing regarding the title. Yep, obviously Super Nintendo in 1994, which was 96, and it was called Final Fantasy 3 here. So, given that confusion, like I said, early 90s, we just started getting like inundated with Japanese RPGs, which had good stories. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like Kefka poisoning the well. The Phantom Train. I mean, look at the meme it made with Sabin, you know, suplexing a train. So, it started to become ingrained in the classical culture, with everybody kind of understanding, hey, this is kind of cool. And then, of course, it was the nerds that picked it up first. I was one of those nerds. Shocker. And the nerds just kind of picked it up and ran with it. They were like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. We'll just make it nerdy culture. And then we started seeing original Dragon Ball at like 5 in the morning on Cartoon Network at some random time. It was ridiculous, but it was a great time. And that's when the Japanese influence really kind of picked up. And since that point, it's just gotten larger and larger here. Mostly because when people watch or play a lot of Japanese products up until recently, it's always sending a good message, like sticking up for your friends, coming to the aid of a damsel in distress. Very rooted in proper etiquette. You know what I mean? Like being not so much bashful, but being what's the word I'm looking for? Humble, but not really. Okay, but that's not exactly what I'm talking about. But like being humble, being modest. That's what I'm looking for. Humble and modest. And they I mean, Japan has a modesty thing. They have this massive modesty thing. Until it comes to like the onsen, at which point they're not really that modest. They're like, you know, that's how you were created. That's how you should be. Completely regardless to that point. You have... Oh, poisoned. Good thing I got one of those cures. The whole idea of that modesty, humble, but yet being a strong character, standing up for what's right, was very similar to the Bushido Code. No? Not necessarily all of it, but it's very... Why do those ogres look weird? Those ogres look really weird. They look perfectly fine on my screen. But they look really weird right there. Okay, ogres. It's a little weird. Well, Dirk might die, and then the run will be pretty much over at that point. I should probably run. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. He got away. Good idea. But it's that culture of doing what's right. The colors are off. That's weird. But it's only the reds and purples that are off, because that woman was not wearing a brown dress. That woman was wearing a red dress. Like, see, it's orange there, and it's orange over here. Let's see what I run into. See if I can run into a gray wolf or something. Yeah, see, even the creeps look really weird over there. That's creepy. Alright, okay. Kind of weird there. Surprised, and then I don't wonder why it's like that. Anyway, it's probably the emulator. But that type of Bushido code is in, like, to do the right thing, that sort of thing. And that matters. And that was a big proponent of culture. That kind of, you know, transcended boundaries. And now, of course, it's been ruined by the modern audience. Because the modern audience says, oh, you gotta put in things like cringe and other things like that. It's like, okay, the new vernacular kind of ruins it. And so localizers are basically ruining the subtitles. And it's creating, from what I would say, a rift. And I will call it a rift. Because anybody that watched anime as it was will take a look at it as it is and say, it's not the same. Like, localizers and everything way back in the day, they really knew what they were doing. I know what it is. Hold up. Hold up. It's the chroma key. That's what it is. It's the chroma key. I had to chroma key it for, Hearthstone. See? There we go. Because I was using my Hearthstone deck tracker. It was the chroma key. Now we got it. Anyhow, localizers have pretty much ruined the old translations. And it used to be like, if you had it translated, there was a translator note. And it would say something like, this is what they mean, and they would generally give you a small amount of context as to how it was culturally significant, or how it mattered. Like, they did it in such a way. He's just getting slugged right now. What is wrong with you, dude? But they would do that. They put up a little translator note that would say something like, this is somehow related to etc. Or this is because of this. And having that in a show glued people into not just the show, but the culture behind it. And they don't do that anymore. Now they try to, you know, swap it out for agenda-laden garbage. And it's like, you need to stop doing that. And he's dead. We're just down to the old Black Wizard. Black Mage. We are in what I refer to as a conundrum. Because we have no heals. We have no tank. We have just Chip. This video is likely to be very short. And it's because people like Dirk and Paul got slugged hard, and it's It's a tragedy, but, you know, it is what it is. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to do what we can. Now, if I can get him something that prevents death from certain auto-kill spells, I'll be fine. But I gotta find that first. I think they didn't invent that for a while. He needs to rest again. He has no spells. That's what makes this so hard, is it's not mana, right? Like, they made it easier in the new era, because the new era it's like, oh, there's mana, you can just you have a whole bunch of MP. And with all that MP, you could just burn it up using ether and carry on. Nowadays, it's, you know, back then it was, you had X amount of spells to go through the entire dungeon. And that was it. Very strict, very rigid on that. And it's like, yikes. Alright, Kyozoku I can take. Kyozoku I can take, yes. No problem. I mean, other than the fact that they're absolutely just laying into him. You want to kill him with that lightning spell? Or you just want to tickle his fancy? I mean, either way. Okay, there we go. Oh, so ice works better. Okay, so you can freeze them. Brother, you need to get to an inn before you die. And that's the thing. There's so much about why I do what I do. Like, I do like genuine challenge in games, but then taking it one step further, like with this, or if I was to do any other sort of, like, RPG, like with the Diablo, for example, the one talent challenge. I like doing the extra challenge there. Not because I need it to be more challenging, but because it's more of a thought experiment. Run. Run. A green ogre that far north. That's not good. And now he's gonna die. Guaranteed. Money back guaranteed. Chip's gotta die. Because I am gonna do it until. Okay, there we go. You got him with the. The damage is so random. Like, you either high roll or you low roll, and it's bad. Like, if you low roll and you get, like, the 26, you're just... You're just not... You're not having a good day. Then you high roll and you get to 64, and you're like, alright, okay. But I love vintage games like this. I love being able to do challenges and stuff like that. I just enjoy it. I also enjoy the whole, wow, 100 damage terminated immediately, straight away. Was not expecting that from a Fire 2. But I just like the way my format goes on here, right? Very free-flowing, very just nonchalant. I don't try to become something I'm not. I don't try to put on airs. I don't sit there and... Really, with the poison? Really? I don't try to do... and become that YouTuber that everybody's used to seeing, right? I like to be understated. I like to be me, organic, which is why I don't edit anything. Because when you edit, what happens? Realistically, what happens when you edit? You make everything run together. No gaps, no thoughts, no sitting there, and losing your train of thought. None of that actually gets seen in most channels. Or mistakes that are made. Why do people want to make it less organic? I mean, that's the part I never understood. YouTube used to have its slogan called "Broadcast Yourself." Are you serious with the poison? I just got cured of poison. I literally just took a pure and fixed it, and now you're just, oh, put it into my veins. What are you thinking, man? Well, you leveled up again, but for how long? But as I was saying, when you get to the point when there's stuff that just does not feel organic anymore, and there's a lot of channels that are like that. It's all jump cuts, over editing, and a bunch of stuff, and it's like, why? Like, I don't understand the mentality here. Maybe it's because I didn't grow up with it. Maybe it's because I didn't grow up watching YouTubers do the same thing. Right? Maybe it's because I just grew up, I guess, sitting down watching documentaries and Bob Ross. Maybe that's it. Where, like, solace could be found in the silent portions in the video, right? Man, he is just getting absolutely clobbered. I wonder if anybody else has a bigger unedited channel. That'd be interesting to find out. He's down to 2. It's a barn burner. He's dead. And that's the second party dead. And it all started with Paul dying to a critical hit. That's how the last one ended too, was a critical hit. I had 4 party members, it was going great. Crit, took them. Crit, took them. And is what it is, I guess. But I guess I'm gonna have to end it there. Leave me a comment about what party I should make next. And I'll make that party, and I'll try to get through it. I haven't made it any further than the first dungeon, because I just keep... I think I'm taking it too fast, too far. And I think in doing so, that's what's causing the problem. But nevertheless, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I know I did. I hope everybody has a fantastic evening, a wonderful tomorrow, and as always, have a good one.